everyone who's listening right now. You've got myself, Nasip Izwani, the host of Sludge Underground, and I'm back with another episode today. We've got Lungelo King032. Who's I'd say one of the most underrated artists to come, from the Durban region. And we're basically going to be learning, a lot more about him. He's basically an underground self-signed musical composer, and he's here to talk about his art. And he's also a creative director, slum poet, and clothing brand promoter. He's a man of many talents. So I want to start off with the first point today, King032. In one of your songs, you actually mentioned that, you were raised by your grandmother. Now, I feel it's a pivotal point to actually start at because, in order to know our future, we got to start and look back, at our past. So how much of a role did your grandmother actually play in you becoming, King032?
Oh, you just touched a very emotional topic because she's somebody I've been thinking of a lot lately because I was home recently because usually I'm based in Durban, but then at most times I'm based in Stanger. So Durban back at home is where my grand raised me and gave me all of these values in life and just a lot of things, man. She played a huge role in basically my upbringing because when I was given to her, I think I was around 7, if not 8. She just took me in and embraced me. She embraced me like nobody else has ever embraced me. She did everything. Like, I don't know if you can even hear from my voice. Like, there's so much that she did. I can't really even put into words. Like, I was even complaining to my sister, like, I write a lot of music, but I can't even find words to put together in order for me to like come up with lyrics for me to write a song for her, like a proper song that's really dedicated to her. But I'm the man I am today because of her. Lord bless her soul. May she rest in peace.
Amen. May your soul rest in peace indeed, man. I can really hear, as you brought up, as you mentioned in your voice as well, that there's a deep connection there when it comes to it. And you obviously mentioned a key point then that, you are usually in Durban, but most of the time you're out in Stanger. You basically have mentioned, and it's a known fact, that you left Stanger. Obviously, you mentioned that you were there for around 2 years or so, and then you came to Durban. What sort of inspired that move, man? Why did you decide to be like, I'm going to leave Stanger and pursue, my schooling career out in Durban? And how has this sort of, helped when it comes to your music?
It wasn't necessarily my choice to move from my town to Durban. Well, because my grand used to run an orphanage, like a children's home out here in Stanger, and then she had to move and relocate to Durban. And then when she relocated to Durban, I had to stay with relatives behind in order for me to kind of continue with my schooling for that particular 1 year, 2 years. And then while I was living with my uncle and my aunt, and obviously like families have a whole lot of differences, and I had a whole lot of differences with more specifically, I say my uncle. Lord bless his soul, may he rest in peace too, but we grow up and you move away from that. Like we had our differences to that turn. Like I had to like talk to my grands and be like, hey, yo, I'm not really feeling good where I'm at right now, because I'm just not happy at all. And then like for that factor, she was like, okay, if you're not happy, then I'm not happy. So I got to come and fetch you. And then we moved on that side. I started schooling that side. And that's where my love for the arts like grew even more bigger, because that's where I saw like people come from the underground to whatever. But that's where the arts, I saw everything basically during those times. Then when I got there throughout that 1 year, 2 years, I connected with a whole lot of people. I was like, okay, I love this place. I can actually live here, and I have things to do. And yeah, basically that was why I moved.
I gotta tell you, man, like, before we even proceed any further, that I was listening to Letters to LJ, and hey, I was in awe, man, with what I heard. That is why I even said, in the intro, that I feel like you're one of the most underrated artists that we have right now. I really feel like a lot more people, should know about the King032 and just your ability, your flows, and everything, that you're able to deliver, or that you did deliver in that project. It's incredible, man. And I really urge anyone who's listening to this right now. We are going to talk a bit more about Letter to LJ a bit later on. So I'm super excited about that there. Stanger, you're the first artist I think that we've ever had that comes from Stanger. So what is that sort of area like? Is it sort of like a suitable environment for hip hop?
Oh my God. It's like, when you manifest things, and like this week, I was thinking just last year before the year ended, I was on these two platforms and I was like, okay, like it's not like I'm looking for acknowledgement from people, but like once in a while as an artist, you like it when people are like, hey, you like the first artist to get on this platform, like big up and kudos to that, that really gives an artist like more momentum to keep pushing and what have you. Hence we do it independently. But then, like, for me to be here on Sludge Underground, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, damn, I am the first again for the third time to be on another huge platform and to be really paving way for all of these kids that follow me and all of these kids that believe in my art, even though most of the masses don't really believe in my art, or I say it hasn't really captured them the way that I essentially wanted to capture them. But to be in this platform is crazy. And going back to the point of my town is a small town. The hip hop history and faculty is huge. Like Maraza comes from this side, Mashapu Gramamba on a world stage. But yeah, hip hop is really big. But then there's not a lot that's being done by the people that should be really supporting us and getting us into places that we really need to get to. Yes, like you work on your own and you hustle and you need to get what you need to get. And that's the one thing that really helps an artist out here. Other than that, you're on your own. You basically got to hustle like really, really hard. You got to hustle like 2 times, which is why it was also a conscious decision for me to move to Durban in order for me to get things done for myself and the guys that are under my record label.
The one thing I can also just say about King032 as well is, besides obviously seeing this within your lyricism, and your flows and stuff, you're a very intelligent human being. I just look at the way that you laid out your EPK. Once again, one of the best, EPKs we've ever received, I'd say. I mean, it's very well detailed. The way that, your moves are crazy, man. Like, you have no idea. And I just want to know what is the source of this, man? Are you a reader? Do you read a lot of books? Is it based, on the education you received? Where does this come from?
Shout outs to my brother, Sihle Majosi, Freshman Entertainment. Those are like my publishing guys. Those are the guys that have really looked after me. Hence, that guy, if he didn't come into my life, I don't think I'd even be talking to you today. So yeah, bless up to Sihle Majosi. All of this goes back to my grams, my pops, my moms. My mother was a poet. My pops was a teacher. I think I even state that in most of my songs. My pops was a teacher. My mom was just an ordinary security lady, but she was a poet. She wrote for, back in the days, she wrote for like the newspapers, those people that would come up in the newspapers as unknown. She was that lady who would write up like poetry and what have you. So I fell in love with that. And then in return, when I got to live with my gran, like in terms of my language, because I was coming from a location, moving into a suburban area, my gran was like, I'm not happy about the way you speak English. I need you to speak English. Like we're going to try and train you the best way that we can. So she'd buy me books. My granddad was a big newspaper reader. So he'd have like stacks and stacks of newspapers. So every day after he'd finish reading a newspaper, he'd be like, come sit with me, read for me. Let's get an understanding of like, are you really getting this? And then it came to when I got into school, I fell in love with writing poetry. I fell in love with English, basically. So that's where I got to really learn and cultivate my English. And yes, I am a reader, although at times I can't be reading always because this career that we eat, it's always demanding, but I try as much as possible to read. I try as much as possible to be conscious about my surroundings and what I do and what everything else is going on in the world.
And I really like how grounded you are, man, and how rooted you are to family. I feel like a lot of artists, once they start getting a bit of recognition, family, they automatically start focusing, on popping bottles and all that. But you are able to stay, grounded, and you're able to actually see that through your music as well. And that obviously, with letters to LJ being your son, and you mentioned your grandmother a lot, and these are the values that I feel like these are certain things that are lacking, when it comes to most artists that make you unique when it comes to the artists that come out of Durban. So that is a massive thing, to have on your side. I mean, obviously you did mention just now that your love for hip hop obviously is rooted to poetry and reading, and obviously your family getting you into reading and stuff like that. Are there any particular artists that you were listening to that, while you were reading, you were sort of like, well, these are the guys I sort of aspire to be like? And if there are any, who are those artists?
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Mainly Biggie and Park, because of the poetry that they were told within them. I'm 31, but like my era, 91 babies, we grew up around those exhibits, those Tupacs, those Biggies, and Talib Kweli's, your LL Cool J's, but mainly like Common. Common is somebody that I still look up to up until today because of the skill that he will those in his tongue and the way that he spits. So those are the artists that I grew to love, like, because you even have guys nowadays that are falling into that realm of different music, but music that's really real, like your God of the Friends, your Joey Badass, like your Touchlines, like your Duncans, guys that are storytellers, your J. Cole's, like those are the type of guys that I really fell in love with, that really tell our story, and our daily doings and our stories as people of color mainly.
I can definitely sense those influences coming through, but at the same time, you're so unique that it's sort of like your own identity. What I can really appreciate about your craft is the fact that, as much as you're about, the delivery, as much as you're about the cadence, and the flows as well, but, you tend to also throw in some of that vernac in there. And I feel like it's something that a lot of people back, here at home, as much as the majority of your influences are, from the States, but you're able to still, capture that audience, that local audience, because of that bit of vernac that you throw in there, which is something I feel is really, it's something good that you sort of got going on your side. The fact that you're 31 years old though, man, are you right now at 31 at a stage where, are you happy with where you are in terms of your music career?
It really gets me thinking, like, back to even what Java said when he said, "But in the Damesina did one, I've done a whole lot of things in the underground that people don't really know about. It's here and there where you need a few things. But in terms of my career as artists, I believe we look for different things. I don't think we choose artistry. Artistry chooses us. So when it chose me and it got in connection with me, I was like, what do I really want to do this music for? Like, when I write a song and it gets out of the studio, who am I writing it for? It's been that idea that the music always has a message, then it will always be of substance for years and years to come.
But I mean, for you personally, what would you say is like the benchmark? What would you say the definition of success would be, looking at the career that you in? What would be sort of like the holy grail for King032? Because I'm looking at the fact that there's so many things, that you have done. Obviously, you've got Rhythmic Magnus Music. You've got To the Mighty Herbalists that's going on. You've got your annual youth conference. Those are things that someone would look at from afar and be like, the impact that they've had, and be like, actually, King032 has done a lot. And then you'd consider him as someone who is successful, within the underground. But I mean, for you personally, are you at that stage yet? Do you feel like with all the things that you've done and achieved, you're at that point, or do you feel like there's something else that you want to sort of conquer?
I think for me, it'll be like a cosign, because I've learned to understand and study the game, like how artists are getting ripped, if that's the word, of their craft and of things that they've worked hard for, because also a big factor that you have to look at. So for me, the pivot is co-sign with a good, reputable company that really is about the music and really about growing the culture. There and then I think everything else will come into order. That's my pivot.
That is definitely something that I can definitely see. Like, and I just feel like it's sometimes it's just a matter of, consistency and pushing until the right, or rather until it falls into the right ears. Because I do feel like, with your capability behind the mic and, the moves and the entities that you have going, I feel like it's just a matter of time. We touched on Rhythmic Madness music. You started that obviously with Ushan Boy. How did you guys sort of come together and form that?
Shonny Boy is my hometown friend. My gran was friends with his mother just because they shared the same surname. Hence, I used to live in Stanger, then I moved up to Durban. When I moved out to Durban, I lost like a whole lot of my friends from this side. And then I got back to Stanger. I meet up with him. He's like, "Hey, are you that guy I used to grow up with? Like, what's up with you? You dressing like Lil Wayne and stuff." I'm like, yeah, bro, nah, this is me. I'm just trying to push like a hip hop movement. By that time, I had like already been pushing the hip hop movement with like guys like Wayne Joseph from Durban, guys like Cabo Feleba, guys like Zagwe back in the days. I was already like in the background, in the shadows, like listening to those guys and listening to their music and practicing my craft. So, and then I get back, I tell him I'm in this hip hop thing. He's like, yo, my guy, okay, I love that. Like, come visit me someday. I have something for you. Then I get to his house. This guy has like instruments. He has almost like a full on studio. And then like from there on, I was already in the jungle with the guys understanding the game. Like every time I'd come back with something new, either software or whatever. We got the name first. Like there's a great reggae artist friend of mine by Louis the Lion who even gave us the name Rhythmic Madness Music Group. When he gave us that name, I was like, okay, then let's get it. Like brothers believe in this, a group of friends getting together and making music with the understanding of let's not make it about money first, but let's make it about the craft first. And then he embraced me like that, like I'm gonna push it till the end. From there on, he got me, and those projects are being listened to people from all over the world, and they're acknowledging the work. And for that to happen, for a guy to believe in me like that, then I started believing in like more and more, and we're still together even till this day. And it's a movement that's pushing.
And obviously you guys, put together, as I mentioned a bit earlier as well, the annual youth conference, and you mentioned how, it's there to assist and help, the culture and young entrepreneurs. So how are you guys actually doing that, in terms of empowering the culture and such? Like, what do you guys actually do when it comes to the annual youth conference? And maybe if there's someone who's interested in sort of, hitting you up and being a part of that, how should they sort of go about it? What are the like logistics of that?
Yeah, the youth conference. Youth conference is something that started out of nothing too. Hence, I said earlier, our arts district really does nothing for artists around there up until you're famous and you're on radio or you're in television. Only then will they want to work with you and give certain things to you just because you're at that stage, of which I feel at times is almost like exploitation. So basically, out of that, I was like, let's generate our anger towards building something that will take us forward other than just complaining, because it's not about complaining. We need to be about action. Me and my friends, like we got our heads together. We came up with that. And basically it helps the youth, like if there's any young entrepreneur, like maybe you have a tuck shop, you running a spaza, you wash sneakers, you sell fat cooks, you sell pies, we have pizza chefs around here. We gathered up all of those people with the mind you not asking for a cent from them. We set up stalls for them. They get there, they introduce the work to the people, because we have like a power hour whereby anybody who needs to advertise themselves via speaking on the stage and talking about their businesses or talking about their future endeavors and things that they've learned, because we have different people that come from different backgrounds. We have students that come from colleges in Durban, colleges from Wazoo. They come back with knowledge. Let's share this knowledge with these kids. So by the time they're out of high school, by the time they're out of primary, they already have an idea of the type of work that they want to get into. If you want to like be in the arts facility, you also get an understanding of what goes on there. We bring guys, like I said, my guy from Freshman Entertainment, Usihle Majosi, he does registrations for Samro, Sapra, all of those things these kids need to learn. We need to learn about all of those things in order for us not to get exploited, because those are the things that are killing our art.
What I really appreciate about what you guys are doing as well is that as much as you moved, away from Stanger, you're still able to then take all the knowledge and things that you gained from Durban, and you're able to then give back to the community back home, which is something a lot of the big artists don't do. And I guess, someone can really appreciate that about you. Music has taken you all over the place, man. Obviously, Stanger to Durban. You mentioned that, there's a show that you played out in Swaziland. I've never been out of the country. So I envy you, man. I envy you. How was the reception in Swaziland, and how did the performances go?
First off, shout out to my brother Lungzachi, who's out in Joburg right now doing his thing. He's the guy from Swaziland who, like I keep saying, like I try and make every move about me and everybody that I connect with to take me to better places, and like, let's help each other. He was also frustrated about the situation of us not getting enough shows around here, not getting enough events. He was like, guys, I've already started making a name for myself back at home in Swaziland out of the music that I make in South Africa with you guys. So now that I'm big at home, I want to take all of you guys, I don't care who's who, everybody who is willing to come, who has a passport, let's fill up certain places, let's do a tour. And then I think we started out in 2017, was our first one. It was a beautiful experience to be out of the country for the first time and to be received in such a manner. It's like when people go crazy for your Blackies, your Lucas raps, like it was like I'm underground, but these people have so much understanding of my sound and my music. They sang along to each and every song because this is support they've given us to Swaziland. Hence, they give the support to Lungzachi. But then they also embraced us and they fell in love with my music. Hence, music that I do here, it always gets out there. By the time I get out there, people already know my music. So I did that the first time. Then by the time I came back for the second time, people had already knew me. We're talking, we're in connection. They already knew my songs. The DJs, the TVs, the radio presenters. Oh, it was something so amazing. Like it was so surreal. And like I got to understand that's the power of work. And it was also good to represent South Africa, basically.
This is very beautiful, man. You obviously also have the, To the Mighty Herbalists. Is that in any way in conjunction, with your label at all, with obviously the annual youth conference, or is this something that's sort of on the side? And what is it, because I know that you guys also help, artists connect, artists from different cities. How are you guys going about that?
To the Mighty Herbalist. After I had matriculated, I worked at Unilever. After working at Unilever, I had to come back to Durban because of certain circumstances, and my grand was like, I need to get an education. So I was back at school, which is Varsity College. And then like I get there, I meet these two goofy guys, Kid Ash, Ronaldo Monde, the hip hop heads. Then Kid Ash tells me stories about he's from the same hood as Nasty C, which is a low. Then he pays me like some fist stuff. I'm like, oh man, this nigga sounds like he's international already, I meet up with these guys and I'm like, nah, it's cool. Let's be a clique then. Let's start something. Then we got joined by guys like Selulego, guys by like Abomo, and then I was like, let's be To the Mighty Herbalist. Hence, we are herbalists, we're herbalists of note. And then we started that movement. That movement also helped in connecting a whole lot of artists, because some of them are from Johannesburg, some of them are from the 035, some of them are from out of the country, Mozambique, some of them are from Lesotho, some of them are from Botswana. So in everything that we tried to do was like to keep a connection, because we ended up being friends that lived in the same flat and did everything together. The connection was so strong, and it's ongoing even now. We had our first annual event specifically To the Mighty Herbalist last year out in Mlazi, and it was massive. It was also beautiful. It also got like a whole lot of underground artists that are not getting recognition or up and coming that are going to rip the streets of Durban up like a platform to really do the thing and connect.
Yo, you guys are working extremely hard, man. I mean, I look at all the things that you do, especially, as one person and as a solo human being, all these entities that you're a part of. At the same time, you aren't lacking when it comes to, what's most important, which is obviously the music, which is what I want to touch on now. As we almost towards the end, but obviously a highlight is the fact that you recently, or rather in 2021, you gave us letters to LJ, who is obviously your 3-year-old son. And as I said in the beginning of the show, man, I really enjoyed the project myself. For me personally, my favorite track on there is For You, Flower Child. I really love how you pay homage to the baby mama, and how you've got so much respect for her. Like, that's one thing that I feel like you really, or King032 is really good at. That emotion through your voice is something that can really be felt, and the beat selection as well is incredible. So how did that track sort of come about? And one of the most important things obviously is, how did baby mama feel about the track?
That's one of my favorites too. The crazy thing is the project itself was almost never finished. I worked with my previous producer to give birth to the project, and most of the beats on the projects are half-made beats, but we had to mix and match. But that track, to be specific, like it had only the chords. We had to record it and add a few more things. But in terms of me writing it, hence I always say like I've always been a poet. I've always been good with words. But it's yeah, she's somebody who really changed my life for the better. She's still changing it even today. She's proving herself, not that she even has to. Then she gave me the son, and then it was like rebirth of me being rebirthed onto this earth, like pure, and for me, not having a good relationship with my pops, or I would say not even a relationship at all, because I got to know him towards a few days or months of him whereby he was about to pass. So then she gives me the son, and then I'm like, damn, this is like a second chance for me to do the things that I never got to do with my dad, because I always felt like there were a whole lot of things that I could have done and said to him, like, or he could have done and said to me, vice versa, that we didn't, hence, like, as people, we heard, and we heard from things of the past and what have you. But she came into my life and she mended all of that. She gave me the son. It was like a new beginning. And then when the record came out, I can't even explain, like, when I saw her and her reaction, like it was priceless. Not that I wasn't even expecting it, but like because I know with everything that I write for her, she just smells, But yeah, she loves that song. Like some of my songs she deletes on her phone, but that's the one song she has never deleted. That's still on her phone. I guess that's the one thing that she loves.
And now, can you imagine if she relates to that level? How many other people actually relate to that? People that really just admire their partners and, appreciate the women in their lives. You really dropped a gem there, man. Overall, the entire, basically project, I mean, you do mention that it's obviously about giving life lessons, to your son. Do you feel that you've achieved that with this project?
Very much so. I've been treating him and training him almost every other day, all of his life traits. Yes, I'm not perfect. He also experiences and sees most of the mistakes that I do, because he's mostly there with me, like, on a daily basis. But what I always say is that he has been for the past 3 years at the University of Life. He's way too advanced for kids his age, for them to even understand him. So when the time is right, when he really understands what the music was about and what I was saying to him, it's all up to him. And from there on, he'll find the traits of life.
That is very beautiful, man. I love how you just stuck to the goal, and basically the rest is up to him. Such is life. With it obviously being 2022, it's a brand new year. What are the plans for you, bro? You gave us a very solid project. You just mentioned, some of the tracks on there that people should check out. What's sort of in the works for this year?
Something has been in the works for the past year and a half now. Shout out to my girl Divine out in Dallas. Like, bless up to the woman. We're touching places I never thought we'd touch independently. Like shout out to her. I'm about to do a few joints with her. We're about to drop something. Shout out to Surya, who's out in California. We're about to work on a few things too. As of this month going forward, something that's going to be coming up soon, a few tracks, a track that I did with my good friend from Freshman Entertainment, Usihle Majosi, and my other good friend, Nero Kitty. It's a beautiful ensemble, which I really like. I can't wait for people to hear. Then there's another song that's on the raps with my boy Ayoma Buza, a beautiful song. There's another upcoming song that we're about to do with the Tall Beats. Shout out to Tall Beats. Myself and Ushoni Boy are going to be working on the track. Other than that, even Stana on the beats, I'm going to be working with him soon on something good. So yeah, basically there's a whole lot of work that's coming out this year, but I'm trying to fight for my catalog because my catalog is at SoundCloud, YouTube. I'm trying to get into Tidal. I'm trying to get into the Amazons. I'm trying to get into all of those spaces. So as much as it's not about the money, but we need to try and make a living and we need to get to places.
For anyone who wants to get in touch with you and wants to work, whether it be with the, annual youth thing that you got going on or any of your projects, man, how do they go about getting in touch with you?
Bolungelo16@gmail.com. Other than that, Lungelo King032 across all of my social media platforms, IG, what have you. And I could never thank you guys for opening so much doors for some of my friends. I've seen some of my friends on your catalog. Like, I feel so humbled.
Bro, thank you so much for all those kind words. Obviously Sludge Underground wouldn't be a thing, without the artists. You guys very much are a big part of the movement. There would be no Sludge Underground without the artists being there to tell their stories, and share their journey. So really appreciate you being on the show, man. For anyone who's listening to this, obviously check out all the episodes right from our brand new website. Is www.sludgeunderground.com. As for myself, it's at Zwane031. As for Sludge Underground, we are at Sludge Underground on every single platform, and then it's just Twitter where we are at Sludge031. And as promised, we're going to be playing out with a snippet of an unreleased snippet at that, by Ulungelo King032 Ngobo, and it's called Changes. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope that you actually look forward to when the track releases, because you guys are getting an exclusive. So I consider myself lucky, consider yourself lucky, and until next time, it is bye for now.
It is not a job if you love what you do. I was dedicated for the all many trials. All day, all night, same place, and let it be like for me and you. They probably thinking I was silver spoon fed because of the way I speak and speak. Working on the fan base before I devour, I say grace. I keep it low-key though I play ace. Walk as fuck, I stay haze. Just like a bunch of Mulianos chasing C notes up in the Sinanacos. See, I'm the heart and the pride of my clan. I can't Kuti like Fela Kuti. Same crowd that's Bigo till the government hurts me with the truth. So crush yourself under the weight of your lies. Got my fist up, black as fuck, screaming, realize. Fighting for change before I see my demise. Both the radio and the telly felt revolution will never be televised. Me and my clique under the system looks through the syllabus. Don't need no validation, man, I've been the boss. Out the streets have been the buzz. We chopping bars, they asking for my A&Rs. Hustle on, I need me that Vinny money like I work at SARS. Hustle on, I need me that Vinny money like I work at SARS. Ganja by the grams, my Swazi niggas delivered by the plugs. Load the chalice, mama cultivate the bloods. Load the chalice, mama cultivate the bloods. What you do? Still fighting for change, boy. Bless. I was dedicated for the home and drive.